It says I am recording. Okay, so this is my first time doing one of these Zoom presentations, so welcome to Gorillas in Our Midst. I'm going to try to ignore the chat until the end. It can be a little distracting, and I don't want to distract myself because I'm good at doing that without people's help. So this gorilla trek that my family and I did back in 2017, it was actually Christmas of 2016. It was the most humbling experience I've ever had. And so I'm going to share some photos and video with you today on that. The audio on the video might not be that good, so I'll try to explain what's happening as we go along. And I apologize for the vertical video. I work in film, so of course everything's 16:9, and I cringe at vertical videos, but I also Instagram a lot, so you know, I was creating stories, and what are you gonna do? So yeah, let's go. So first of all, I have to thank OFFBEAT, Dave and Paul, for putting these together, because I probably wouldn't have done this had they not made these OFFBEAT meets a thing for people. And so this was a OFFBEAT meets group for people in the photography group, but I have invited some family and friends to listen in. So welcome everybody. And if you're not in OFFBEAT and you're into photography and good people and positive vibes and all that, I really think that you get a lot out of it, and you should definitely check out OFFBEAT. A little bit about me. First of all, I get a lot of flack for in my selfies today as an adult. I do this big smile, and I thought this photo was appropriate because I've been doing that smile since I was that old. So it's not, it's a thing. Anyway, so I was born and raised in Yellowknife. I moved to Vancouver for film school in 2004, which is how I got into photography in the first place. One of my classes was to take these digital cameras, which I had never used before, around Vancouver. And we had to find photos of Vancouver 50 years or older and basically go out and try to recreate them. So I was walking around my new city with a new camera, and yeah, trying to recreate these photos. And I started falling in love with photography. And yeah, and so I've also had the pleasure of being Dave's mentee back in 2015. That was a really good experience. Done a lot of traveling, especially a lot in the last 10 years. My parents lived overseas. They lived in South Africa for 3 years, Mongolia for 3 years, Namibia for 3 years. So I got to do a lot of traveling through them. And because of that, I've had 8 different trips to Africa, and I've been to 9 different countries in Africa. And I've actually helped organize and lead the OFFBEAT Chronicles the Namibia workshop, which again was a lot of fun. And if you have a chance to join us next time, whenever that might be, if there is a next time, please do. All right, so we're starting our journey from Vancouver to Kigali. I flew to there's many ways to get to Kigali. This is just the way I took because of my parents living in Namibia in Ballfish Bay. So we flew from Windhoek to Kigali. And here's where Kigali is in Rwanda. It's literally right in the center of the country. And yeah, so that's where Kigali is. We got picked up at the airport by our Primate Safaris tour. And, you know, the slogan says once in a lifetime. And, you know, I live in Vancouver, where every pizza place is the best pizza in Vancouver. And so I always see signs like this, like once in a lifetime experience. And I'm always a little apprehensive when you read something like that. But having experienced it, it truly was a once in a lifetime experience. You know, you could probably do a couple gorilla treks and it would be different every time and still be a once in a lifetime experience each time. So if I only get to do it that one time, it was amazing. I couldn't have asked for another better trip. So this is the city of Kigali. The first thing that we noticed was how clean Kigali was. My dad actually commented how, you know, he commented on how clean it was. And the driver was very, very taken aback, but very, very thankful that we noticed how clean it was, because the Rwandans take such pride in their country. Once a month, the city, basically the city, I can't remember, sorry, if it's the entire city or the country, but let's say the country shuts down for half a day, and everybody is responsible for cleaning up in front of their house or their work. And even the president of Rwanda will come and he will pick garbage up with the regular folk in different areas. And, you know, I think that's really cool because, you know, I can't imagine, you know, Donald Trump or Justin Trudeau or anybody else for that matter going and picking up garbage with the regular people. And I think that's a really cool thing. Begging is illegal. The government wants their people to work for themselves without relying on handouts. And so that's really cool. There was no begging. You weren't really being harassed. And it happened a couple times, but compared to other countries, it's not that bad. This is just a street in Kigali, and again, you'll notice there is no garbage on the street anywhere there. And again, it was Christmas time, so the Coca-Cola sponsored Christmas tree. Again, no garbage wherever. And a field. I could walk down the street to a field in Vancouver, and it'd be much, much worse than this. So there's no garbage anywhere. It was such a clean city, and it was awesome how they took such pride in their city. And so one of the first things we did when we toured there was the Rwandan Genocide Memorial. And I'm not going to speak too much on this because we're here for gorillas, but it'd be hard to talk about Rwanda and not mention the genocide. So we went to the Genocide Memorial, and that was a very, very heavy day for me. It's it's a very complex issue, and I won't delve too deep because you could do a 2-hour presentation or longer on the genocide alone. But yeah, again, I can't talk about Rwanda and not talk about the genocide. So back on April 6, 1994, over 100 days, approximately 800,000 to 1 million people were killed. And those numbers are insane. So the Hutu people were the aggressors against the Tutsi people. They were friends one day, enemies the next. You were having dinner with your friend one night and literally running away from them the following day because they were going to kill you. Aggression was really amped up through the government-sponsored radio, and where you were literally listening to radio broadcasts telling you to kill. And that's, again, it's just insane. I really can't, there's no other words to describe the craziness of that. And one of the problems was that Rwanda is such a small country that no one really believed that a genocide was actually taking place. And the country was really left to their own devices for a long time. The UN peacekeeping mission was led by a Canadian Lieutenant General Romeo Dallaire. His book is called Shake Hands with the Devil. I read it, and again, it's a very sobering, but being a Canadian, it's a very proud, I have a sense of pride knowing that there was a Canadian there to help, So one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting too, and not interesting, it was really sad actually, is that, we would be driving around or walking around, and I would see people my age, missing limbs. And you would know that they lost those limbs during the genocide. And again, it was just sad. They're still finding bodies. Heavy rains come, the river banks wash away, and some bodies turn up. So even, the body count is still being added up to these days. But it was because of this that I tried really hard to remove the word hate from my vocabulary. I just think how oftentimes I used to use the word hate for such trivial matters. And I thought, after seeing what true hatred actually has done to people, I really wanted to try to, not use that word much anymore. And I slip up every now and then, but I catch myself, and I'm pretty good about not using that word. And I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, but a bunch of times in the Genocide Memorial, saw these signs saying never again about genocides. But then they had this list of all the genocides that have occurred prior to that and ones that have happened after. And you know, we say never again, but it happens a lot more often than we think. And it's, again, and even just in the last 100 years has been however many. So now we're going to go on to some gorillas now. Oh, no, not yet, sorry. So this is the Hotel des Mille Collines. Its nickname is Hotel Rwanda. About 1,300 people took refuge here during the genocide. It's still heavily protected. Here's a guard checking for explosives under a vehicle. And there's a scene in the movie Hotel Rwanda where the water gets shut off to the hotel. So all the people there have no water to drink. So they basically start drinking the pool water. And again, yeah, just seeing this in real life, and I know it's a movie, but it actually happened. But to see this place that, you know, one day people were swimming and, you know, a month later they're drinking the water. It's a pretty sobering thing to see. But now we're off to the gorillas. So we'll start on a little more happier note here. So you can see Kigali in the bottom, and we drove all the way up to the Virunga Lodge in the top, which is right on the shores of Lake Burera. And if you look to the left, you can see Volcanoes National Park, where the gorillas are. And just some pictures from the trip up. Some of these photos too, I'm just going to show them. I'm not going to talk over them. I don't need to talk over every picture. Yeah, so I remember seeing this sign and being really excited because you just know how exciting you're going to be. Or I'm just, you know, you see the sign, you see the gorillas, and you know, just the excitement starts building up, because we weren't doing our gorilla trek. We were doing 2 gorilla treks, and we weren't going to start till the next day. So, you know, the anticipation and the anxiety starts ramping up, which is always good for me. This is just a picture of the Lake Burera taken from the main lodge, I believe. And I think that was my room in the bottom right corner there, just above the lake. And that's just the backside of our lodge. So you've got the Muhuvara volcano in the front, the Gahinga volcano in the middle, and Mount Sidinyo in the far back. And so we're off to go visit some gorillas officially now. And so the first family we met was the GIRANEZA family, and it's a family of 9 gorillas. Their family, or troop, is the technical term. But yeah, so this is us ready to head up. So there are 26 different gorilla families, and only 10 families per year are accessible to humans, and it's on a rotating basis. So, you know, yeah, every year one family that was allowed humans to visit gets put back in the list, or back at the rotation, and they keep adding it, so that there's 16 families that do not have human interaction for a minimum of a year, and longer if you get actually, you know, if you're at the back of the list or back of the line. And you're only allowed 1 hour with the gorillas, and that's a hard 1 hour. It's like 1 hour max. There's not a minute, like not a minute more. They get you out of there, and they're very, very adamant about it. Now, before we left on the trek, we had to learn how to speak gorilla, which I was actually very, very good at. So I'm gonna do it for you guys here tonight. So when you show up to the gorillas, you have to make sounds to signal your intentions. So you know, to be like the good sound, like the welcoming sound, you would go kind of like you're clearing your throat. And if the gorillas respond with that sound, you know, you're all good. But if they go, that means back off, give me some space. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't mean you won't be allowed to visit, but it just means that we need to suss you guys out a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, you know, you're being told this, and of course you're kind of laughing and thinking, oh, this is silly. Well, I was, but at the same time, I'm thinking, this is awesome. But yeah, so I was like, you know, you'd practice, and it was great. It was a really good time. So we traveled up to Mount Bisoki for our very first trip. We chose Rwanda versus other countries as it was a lot less travel time for us to get to the gorillas. It was a shorter plane ride and a shorter drive versus maybe like, you know, the same amount of plane ride, but a 7-hour drive had we gone to Uganda, for example. So that's just why we chose Rwanda. We wanted to maximize our time, obviously. And when we were meeting for our first trek, we were asked basically our activity level and how fit we were, how much work we wanted to put in. And we kind of agreed that on our first day, we'd like to have some sort of an adventure. We don't need to, I don't want to just walk 5 minutes and see the gorillas, but I also don't need to go on a 5-hour hike. So we did about an hour and a half on our very first day. And yeah, we went up Mount Bisoki. And actually, if I go back for a second, right, if you see the Mount Bisoki and that little symbol, right near that symbol of the mountain is actually where Dian Fossey's gravesite is. So we didn't get to go up that far. We could have had we gone on the like 5-6 hour hike up, but we didn't. This is the road up. And again, so now we have the reverse. I showed you that shot with the mountains in the background. Well, this is literally the reverse. So Mount Sabinyu in the front, the Gahinga volcano in the middle, and the Muhabura volcano in the back. And yeah, it was a 1.5 hour trek up. It was pretty steep. Lots of, the forest closes in on you pretty quick. Lots of fire ants everywhere. And yeah. So, and then we encountered, you're literally walking and you meet up with some rangers and there are gorillas. And this was this is my first picture I ever took of a gorilla. And so this is a female. So you have your silverbacks, which is all males eventually will turn silverback, but the main silverback runs the family. And then his sons or other males in the group are blackbacks until they become silverbacks. So yeah, there was 9 gorillas, a couple babies. And the thing is, because, you'll see soon that there's a lot of forest and there's a lot of bush and brush. So it's pretty hard to see some of these animals, and you think how big they are and how actually quite well camouflaged and hidden they actually could be. And yeah, you got these little babies, they're so cute.
He's super cute.
Mm-hmm. Just right in the back. Video. I don't know if this video is playing well for you guys, but
you just give the word.
They're telling us to give us the space.
That was me. Can you give me my way?
So you're supposed to give them 7 feet distance. They can come as close as they want to you. They can do whatever they want to you, basically, but you do have to give them their space, and you're not allowed to touch them. They can come up and touch you, poke you, slap you, whatever they want to do, but you cannot touch them. And part of it too is, especially if we were to touch the babies, we imprint our oils on the babies, and the silverback can actually kill the babies, or just own the family, or kick them out of the family, kill the babies, and you obviously don't want that to happen. So this is actually GIRANEZA. He's the main silverback of the family. He actually died May 12th, 2017, which is 5 months after we met him. He died of natural causes, which is better than, other things. And this is GIRANEZA. Again, again, you have these animals with such personality. Like, look at that smirk. I don't even know if I could make that facial expression if I tried, but you just got such personality with these animals. There he is again, just eating. I see a question, how old he would have been. You know what? I tried to look it up, and I couldn't find it. So no, I don't know how old he would have been. I should have looked up gorilla lifespan, but I didn't. But again, yeah, the cute little babies. And what they're eating here is basically wild celery. Oh, we got to spend 1 hour with them. I'm hand holding a 7200 while I take a video, which is really really tough. And no, none of them touch me, but I do have a story coming up about how they touch someone. That sounds awful. That's not right. Slightly less
video.
Yeah. Again, so when I'm showing some of these photos and I'm not speaking and you think the audio cut out, I'm probably not talking because again, I'm not going to talk through all these pictures as I continue to talk through all these pictures. But like these, and I find the babies too. The babies had so like the adults too had personality and facial expression, but the babies had so much personality, and I think that's the same with humans as well. Like you think about human babies, and as adults, some of us we dull down over the years. But babies, they're always a little. Little babies are always up for something and making sounds, faces, noises, and I think it's the same with these. They are omnivores. Some of them they don't eat meat like animals, but they'll eat termites and other ants and insects and all that. And yeah, he was using a 7200 lens. Yeah, see, there's just another example of this personality. And they're so affectionate, the mothers with their babies. It was really cool to see. And I don't know that he's waving in the sense that we would wave at each other. But until someone tells me that that baby wasn't waving at me, that's exactly what he was doing. But yeah, they pay attention. They're pretty cool. They're so active. Lots of videos of me.
To have family does not mean you have to be tough, and you have to be handsome, you have to act noble.
There's the mom and the baby now, just kind of chilling out. There she is lying down looking at us. So, and there's my sister's now husband, Jason, taking a photo, and they like traveling with me because I get to, they get a bunch of photos that they don't have to worry about, and I take all the pictures, and Sarah will carry my tripod every now and then, so she earns the photos. So yeah, I don't mind helping them out.
Already on my two screens.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I was saying how the animals or the gorillas, like they're so big. Like this is a 350-pound gorilla, and it's so well hidden in the bush here. It's crazy. Like if you were walking, you might not notice them until it'd be too late. There's just I don't know if they eat sugarcane. The gorilla mother showed a lot of affection for the young, which it honestly, it felt like I was watching a human mother kiss her baby. I just find it so interesting how I view these as human characteristics, but gorillas have been around much longer than humans. And to see this behavior that we do and they do, and I can't speak for other apes, but I'm sure it's the same. But just to see, I'm sure my mother's kissed me like that before. So it was, yeah, it's just really interesting to see, and it's just so humbling. And here's the baby, a little embarrassed that we got visitors and he got kissed in front of his mom. Then he kind of just realizes, whatever, I'm gonna chill out. And so this is a little video, just again, such large creatures living so close to civilization. And as for human interaction, except for the rangers that would keep an eye on the 10 families and poachers, no, they don't have any other human interaction. They're very well protected. And of course, here's me with GIRANEZA getting not a selfie, but so you'll notice the gloves and the long pants, and I have the socks pulled up over the pants. Now, the socks are to keep the fire ants from going into biting me and into my socks. And the long pants and the gloves are helped to protect from the stinging nettles. Well, they did not protect at all. The stinging nettles, they only sting for about 10 minutes, but there's so much of it that by the time the pain in your arm goes away, you're noticing it in your calf, and then your quads, and then all the other, it's a never-ending experience. Eventually it does go away, but it is painful. And the long pants and the gloves did nothing. You'd be better off wearing jeans, but I'm not wearing jeans, it's ridiculous, it's too hot. Oh yeah, and you can see on top of my camera, I bought this little GPS tracker because I wanted to know exactly where I took the photos, and it basically, that GPS tracker lasted for the trip, then it died, but at least I know where the pictures were taken. There's another little gorilla there. Well, it's not little, is it? And there's another shot. So yeah, this is GIRANEZA again. You can notice the silver on the back there. So there he is. Yeah, and again, a massive animal. But the trees are massive, and they're so well hidden. I find that this shot very, very haunting. And so this is a pretty funny story. So my sister and Jason had just recently gotten engaged, and they wanted to get a photo with GIRANEZA in the background, but he wasn't paying attention. So because we were accepted into the group, like in the family, for a visit, we're under his protection. Now, if something were to happen to us while we're under his protection, other gorillas in the family or other gorilla families, troops, can challenge his authority because he let his guests, something happened to his guests. Like how can you protect your family if you can't protect these guests? So one of the rangers that's with us has had this bright idea to give Jason a little bit of a shake just to see what would happen. You can see him grabbing Jason on the arm there, and my sister she's starting to freak out because GIRANEZA is starting to freak out. And that happened. So now he's not being aggressive towards my sister or Jason. He's protecting them, and he's saying back off. And it's funny because Jason's just staring straight at me. My sister can't even keep her eyes open because she's terrified. I'm literally have the button pushed down. I'm shooting pictures because I don't know what I'm getting either. I'm just like, this is crazy. And we'll just zoom in a little bit there. Now imagine walking into that in the middle of the jungle at night. Yeah, it was awesome. I feel kind of bad at it, because he feels he got a little duped, and you can see in his face there. He knows. Look at that. He's got his arms crossed, and he's giving us that what? I think he probably, would he flip us the bird? I'm sure he could. But yeah, he knows he got a little duped, and so they finally got their photo, and there he is in the background again, showing that attitude. And I just thought it was so cool. I've done that. I probably did that today at some point. Yeah, see, there he is, a little sulky. Oh. And there we got the family photo with him. Thankfully, our hour is pretty close to being up, because at this point, I'm not too sure how happy he was with us being there anymore, because here he is protecting us, and we made him a fool. So yeah, that's that. Of course, I had to get a selfie. See, there's that face. And we went back to the lodge. My adrenaline, we came back down. My adrenaline was running, so I had a nap, took some pictures, just had a real chill afternoon. Set up my camera just to take some photos, which turned into this. And then I kept my camera in the same position, and I read a book in my room, and I shot a star trail, which turned into this. And the cool thing about star trails is I posted this one up before. I'm sure some of you have seen it, but because Rwanda is right on the equator, the stars went right up. And a lot of times with star trails, you never know what you're getting until the end. And yeah, when I put these together, this is what I got, and I'd never seen this before. I thought that was really cool. And so now we're off to visit the AGASHYA family. So this family, it was a 10-minute walk into the bamboo forest. So we did the long walk the first day, short walk the second day. Now there are 26 gorillas in this family. Tons of babies, youth, teenagers, adults. There's tons, there's 26. And the nice thing about the bamboo forest too is that it's a little more open. You can see them. Whereas, we saw GIRANEZA, a mom, and the baby in the last family. We saw 4 out of the 9 gorillas. Here we saw, I lost track because I'm pretty sure we saw all 26. So the bamboo forest is just on the foot of Mount Sabinho. And again, thanks to the GPS tracker, I know exactly where those photos were taken. Yeah, so it's my first time seeing lenticular clouds above the Muhavara volcano. Yeah, us getting ready to go up. You can't see it on my shirt, but I thought it was appropriate to wear a picture of a chimpanzee on a bicycle smoking a pipe. So that's the shirt I'm wearing. And here, so they eat wild celery, gallium plant, thistles, and bamboo shoots. And these, so we tried some celery, wild celery.
We call this one thistle, and you can see it has some thorns. And the way I'm going to peel is the same way the gorilla they peel. They do like this. Nice. And then they eat this one. Is the one who contains a lot of water.
So yeah, this is their food and their water from these plants too. So. Yeah, and so this is this is our first encounter with the AGASHYA family. Just such beautiful creatures. And and just the strength of these animals too. Like this bamboo shoot, I probably couldn't even bend it like that. And this guy just bends it right in half. Bamboo is one of the toughest woods out there. And to see these guys just manipulate it like it's paper was crazy.
Yeah, and then they're changing the place. And they make new nest every night.
And again, like that little bamboo, it's obviously so strong they can stand on it, but they can still break it in half, no problem. It's crazy. Some more pictures. So that's the mother with her baby right there. You got another baby in the back. And then, again, there's just gorillas all over the place. And here's the mother is breastfeeding. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Jungle Book, the original animated one. I know King Louis from The Jungle Book was in orangutan, I believe. And I know that this is a gorilla, but I can't help with the King Louis vibes that I get from from this photo. Yeah, it's just, I think it's the belly, to be honest. Yeah, I just see this and I see King Louis 100%. Yeah, that's me post-COVID too. Holy, you can only see my upper half, thank God. So this is just the same gorilla, just taken a little bit further back. Tough life.
photogenic today. Here comes some gas.
Yeah.
There, yeah, just chilling out. The babies again remind me of human babies. They walk around like little drunks, and the little baby gets clotheslined here, almost. Oh, they're so cute. And some, yoga, little gorilla yoga. And my mom was telling me that the baby gorilla is actually doing what's called a happy baby pose. So there you go, just again doing some yoga. This is one of my favorite photos that I took. I just, I feel so much emotion for this gorilla, and I feels like it feels like the gorilla is sad, and I don't know that the gorilla is sad, obviously, but I just love this. I love this photo, and I just, again, I can feel the emotion, and especially in this one too. There's another photo in this little series where the gorilla is looking more at the camera, and I have that in a little slideshow at the end. But I love the power and the emotion I can feel from looking at this gorilla, and I would have no idea what it's going through its mind right now. I couldn't even begin to comprehend, but I'm sure it's something pathetic. So then just the gorilla gorilla pile, I suppose. Yeah, they just have so much fun. We went with primate safaris. Was our tour group. So the gorilla with the mom with the baby on her back, she climbed this tree, and while we weren't looking, started peeing, and almost peed on my mom's head in the bottom there. So thankfully that didn't happen. But yeah, she almost got rained on. Just another cute picture of the babies. And so that's the main silverback of the AGASHYA family. Just contemplative, deep in thought. How many times have we all done this pose? Rested our knuckles on our chins, and it's just, again, it's a trait that we would do as humans, but is it a human trait? It's so interesting to see just the human characteristics. Well, the characteristics that we share together, not necessarily human characteristics, but it's just it's such a humbling thing to see. Just deep in thought, watching over the family. So these funny story about these two young gorillas. They were kind of horsing around, causing a lot of trouble. And the mom was coming around, and she was trying to get them to stop. And they weren't really paying attention. And it's kind of like when you meet a little kid for the first time, they're shy, but after like 10 minutes, they won't leave you alone. Well, these gorillas were kind of like that. They were a little shy and apprehensive at first, but then they got really animated as they got used to us. And they were kind of starting to play horse around and show off a little. And I don't have any video of it, unfortunately, but the mom comes a couple times and she's trying to get them to stop. And then when things get a little out of hand, she comes in and pounds the ground and barks. And these gorillas stopped instantly. And the mom just sat down and watched them, and she kept her eye on them. And it was as if she was saying, all right, kids, we've got company, start behaving. Show a little respect, but decorum. So yeah, she just sat and watched, and it was really cool to see. Again, they're just such playful creatures. The mom and the babies. So this is the same mom that climbed up the tree and almost peed, or did pee, but almost peed on my mom. The babies they have such wicked hair. And so again, like, you've got these massive animals, and they're still so well hidden, and actually made to be quite small. When I put on my wide lens for this, and you step back and you take the photo, and they're actually, they're very well protected, well hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the babies here.
So let me start that again. I was saying how there's 26 gorillas and they're kind of all over the place. Well, again, there's in this video I think there's like 5 gorillas and one of them's literally standing on my foot. They're everywhere. And this is my personal favorite shot that I took that entire trip. As soon as the mom looks away, the baby sticks out its tongue and starts giving us some attitude. Again, to talk about the similarities between humans and gorillas. Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. I think it's too funny. Yeah, the mom looks away, the baby starts giving us some sass, and when mom looks back, the baby kind of just goes back to not being a little brat. So this gorilla that walks in the frame right here. So our family was on this trip, on this tour, but we had 3 Americans with us. And one of the American ladies, she was taking a photo or video of one of the other gorillas, and that gorilla that just ran into the frame actually ran past and smacked her right in the lower leg, right below the butt. And she played pretty cool for a bit, but she actually said that she was in a lot of pain. And even though that's such a small creature, the amount of force behind that young gorilla, the power that it had in its hand, you can only imagine what like a 350-pound silverback could do. But yeah, I think she was pretty startled, and yeah, it was. We had a little laugh about it after because we just heard this sound, and the heck was that?
Yeah.
So there's the son, or I don't know if it's boy or girl actually, but just playing around on dad's back. Just chilling out. Actually, the one thing too is I had a bunch of these photos and I hadn't gone through and edited them all. So it was very cool to putting this together. I actually had a chance to go through and edit a bunch of these. So of course I had to take a selfie, and it's Christmas. So I've got my Santa hat on. So as I'm taking the selfie, I can see in the background that little gorilla who was further back start coming a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And the pom-pom on my hat's starting to bounce up and down. And one of the rangers says, "You better grab your hat because he's coming for it." And, you know, sure enough, no sooner had I taken my hat off, and he's right beside me looking up because he wants the hat. And, you know, I kind of backed off to give him the space. But, yeah, it was glad that didn't happen. I don't think, well, it could have been funny for the next person to see a gorilla wearing the Santa hat. But and then, yeah, we stopped for so that was the end of our gorilla trek, and we stopped for a bathroom break, and I was in my Santa hat, and this guy was dressed up as Father Christmas. It was Christmas Day, and yeah, he came over and wanted a selfie with me, so I thought I'd include that in here. And then it was our flight back to Namibia, and I've got a short little slideshow next. I've included some photos. I know this has gone a little long. The slideshow's only like 3.5 minutes. Super quick, and so yeah, I'll just play that now. I've included some photos in there that I didn't include in the presentation here. And that's it, guys. I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know I went really long. Here's my social media stuff. If you don't follow me, that'd be awesome if you did. Whatever, if you don't. Now it's open up for questions. Anybody wants to ask me questions? Now's your time.
Nice work, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Where'd you get the hat?
I got it in South Africa. I think it was probably on my very first, I didn't wear it on my first safari, but I definitely, I got it somewhere in South Africa. I've got everywhere I go, I get a musical instrument, a hat, and a weapon, usually a knife or some stabbing object.
Oh.
I just find the knives are very ornate. Like I've got a Zulu spear. I've got a knife from Rwanda. Yeah, I just got like a Mongolian sword. I just find the knives are very ornate. So I like to collect them. And
that's cool.
Yeah. So.
Awesome job.
Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah.
That's great.
I really appreciate it.
Photography-wise, Aaron, did you struggle with the lighting conditions during the day?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially more so in the bamboo forest. The light was a lot more dappled. I definitely struggled with the photography with the light. There's the one shot with the gorilla where he's really contemplative, and I took that shot, and it's one of those where I'm kind of just shooting and just hoping I get something at this point. Because they move so much, and I got really lucky with a few of those shots. But again, like the color within the bamboo forest, it's again, the light's so dappled, and there's shadows, and there's bright areas. It was very, very hard to make good art, to be honest with you.
Sure.
And the range of lenses, I see a question was, I had my 70 to 200 and my 24 to 70. I didn't have my 14 mil then. So yeah, 24 to 70 and my 7200 were what I brought with me on that trek.
Which one did you use the most?
I used the 7200 most just because I was able to, because I couldn't get as close physically. So I wanted to be able to keep my distance, but still get some good shots. But I definitely popped on the 24 to 70, especially when I wanted to show just, I guess, the how small the gorillas are in their actual space.
Cool.
Yes, I did shoot in manual mode. I'm 99% sure that I shot in manual mode, and that would be what I consider light packing. Yes, we did hire as part. When you go on trips, sometimes you hire porters, and so I could have had more if I wanted to, but we hired porters to carry some of our stuff. So hey, I didn't want to make them have to work too hard if I wasn't willing to do it. So. With only an hour visit, I definitely found it hard to kind of be in the moment and experience, but also take the photos, because of course I want to get good photos. I think I did a pretty good job of managing my time, but it was definitely because the thing is, you want to take pictures and then they move somewhere new and you get a new angle, so you're just it's just one of those things where you paid so much money and you spent so much time to get there that you want to make sure you walked away with something good. But at the same time, I'm a huge proponent of being in the moment is far more valuable a lot of times than the actual pictures that come. Because if you're not in the moment, what good is the picture if you don't remember where you were taking it or what you felt? So we got 2 visits in total. We did 2 days. Two gorilla families.
So now that you've had an opportunity to experience something so amazing, and what advice would you give to some of us who may want to do a trip like this in the future?
Oh, I highly I highly recommend it. It's, again, I can't emphasize just how humbling of an experience it was. You really, there's times I've gone out and shot. I've been in Africa shooting night skies, and there's no one else around me. But and you feel like you're such a small part of the universe. And I think that when I was with the gorillas, I actually felt a lot more part of the universe, because I just felt the connection, and you can feel the emotions, and you're excited, and I just think that it's a very cool thing to experience. And again, it's a once in a lifetime experience. It really is, and it's expensive. It takes a lot of time, but I really, out of all the things that I've done, traveling I've done so far, I really can't think of an experience that I've had that tops that. And I say, I know Africa is a continent. I know Africa is not a country; it is a continent. But people say, "Oh, where's your favorite place?" And I say Africa, and they say, "Well, where in Africa?" And I can't pick a particular place, because every place in Africa has been so different for me. But the gorilla trek specifically it's the thing that I instantly go to in my brain whenever someone says Africa. I instantly think Rwanda, and then go from there. Where to next? Geez. Well, I think Antarctica would be cool. That's on my list. But to be honest, I really want to go to New York. I would love to go to New York. Antarctica, though, is the one big trip I'd like to do. I'd like to do Central America. Hell, let's face it, I want to go everywhere. But New York's a city that I would really like to go to. But again, with the current climate of the world, I don't know that that's going to a city that big is, if I go there, I want to make sure that I'm getting to do all the things that I wanted to do prior to that. And, if I can't go to a Broadway show or do something like that, it's kind of, well, what's the point? So that's, where next? Antarctica is high on the list, but New York is up there too. Yeah, we didn't get to spend as much time in Rwanda as we probably would have liked. We were on a little bit of a time budget, and of course, it is expensive. It would have been really cool to see a bit more of the country. But the people we encountered, the places we went to, everybody was so kind and polite, and I haven't really felt. I don't want to use the word threatened. I haven't felt. I guess in Rwanda, I felt much more safe than I had in almost any other country that I was at. I mean, mind you, we were there for 4 days. But it was still like, you can tell, you can feel that there's good people there. And it was really cool to, the testament to the human condition, where you have these people who, they had something really bad happen to them, and they made the best of it in the end. And now look at them. They're such a proud people. They take care of their people. They take care of their country. They take care of their streets. They take care of their animals. I mean, of course, their gorillas get poached and all that sometimes, and it happens. But for the most part, they want people to come. They want the gorillas protected because they want the people to come. And I just think it's very cool to have had such bad things happen to them, but still be resilient.
Totally.
So yeah. Well, if that's it for questions, guys, again, thank you all so much for tuning in. It was really great to be able to put this together for you guys. It gave me a chance to kind of go back and live through some memories and experience some things I haven't felt in a long time. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I guess I'll end this here. Thank you so much.
Ruth and Aaron are giving a gorilla goodbye.
What's a gorilla goodbye, Aaron?
Oh, well, I guess it would be. I need to give you guys some space.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. See you guys all online, I'm sure. Bye.
Well done. We can still.
I can still see you guys. How do I get out of here?
We're leaving now.
We're leaving now, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. How do I leave?